In this video, I will show you how to do this homework and how to identify those variables that are the independent variable, dependent variable, and control variable through the wording of the question and then to analyze the problem. But first of all, I would like to discuss with you about easier case first. Just think about these two boys. Okay, think about these two boys, and they are having a running competition. 佢兩個咧比賽鬥快緊咧，邊個跑得快啲咧？And now the one on the left hand side, he's running in the desert and with a heavy backpack, as you can see in the background. Okay, a lot of sand. Okay, and with a relatively bigger backpack. And on the contrary, for the guy on the right hand side, he's running under autumn, very comfortable, and he is wearing some shorts. And more is that is just have a light backpack with less material on the top. And by their facial expression, the one on the left hand side running but crying, and the guy on the right hand side running with smile. Do you think that the competition is fair to them? 呢兩個男仔跑步比賽啦，對佢哋嚟講係咪公平咧？係嘛？一個沙漠孭重嘢，着長褲跑，一個短褲，秋天孭住少啲嘢跑，比賽係咪公平咧？ And of course, the answer is not, because no matter the weather, or I will say the temperature of the environment, the mass of the bag, types of clothing also affect their performance. 大家都會呢三樣嘢係嘛？側邊環境氣温，個袋重定輕，跟住佢着緊嘅衫褲鞋襪，全部都會影響緊佢哋嘅表現。So I will say that this test is not fair at all. And in order to make their competition a fair test for these three above items, the temperature, the mass of the bag, and the types of clothing, they must to be kept the same. And for this factor, because they may lead to some unfair performance of these two boys, so we must control to keep them the same. Keep them the same. To make the test fair, 令到佢公平嘅，以上呢啲條件都要令到佢哋兩個比賽嘅時候一樣，先至叫做公平啦。And this kind of factor or this kind of variable, we call them controlled variable. Control 控制咁解，後邊呢個變數變量啦，我哋可以改變嘅。而家我就係要控制到佢唔改變，先至令到佢哋跑步比賽叫做 fair。Oh, and there are totally 3 types of variable, and then now I'll talk about one variable. It's called control variable. And then the other two you have to think of are called, first, independent variable. Independent variable 自變數或者叫做獨立變數。And then the other one is called dependent variable 因變數。And here maybe you don't know these two terms because they sound the same and sound similar in their spelling. But for the dependent variable, it actually means that what you can measure or compare. 嗱頭先講啦，佢係一個 competition 嚟啦，係嘛？They are inside a competition, and how do you know that they run faster? Is of course taking the time. If one guy it take 1 hour to finish the race, and then the other guy take maybe a day to finish the race, then of course the one taking shorter time is the one faster, is the winner. Okay, so what you can measure is the time taking for them to finish the whole race. 係咪？一啲佢哋會量度用嚟比較嘅嘢 我哋就叫 dependent variable， 得唔得？一啲你可以量度嘅嘢，可以比較嘅嘢，就叫做 dependent variable。And in Form 1, there are several usual measurement, common measurement. They are like the mass, or the time, or the length, or the temperature, volume, or just simply yes or no, can it happen or not, just the result。究竟你點樣知道個結果係咪佢可唔可行啦？或者透過啲量度佢需要嘅，例如時間啊，佢究竟生長嘅速度去到邊度啊，生長嘅高度去到邊度啊？呢個就係你知道嘅 result 嚟啦。And then inside this competition, what you really want to know, you can actually write the whole race in this form。邊個跑得快啲？ Or in English, you can just write it down. Who can run faster? So also in this investigation or in this study or in this race, what's your target you would like to study is who？ 係嘛？你想研究嘅對象係邊個？咪就係呢兩個嘅 student 咯，係嘛？你想研究啲咩嘢啊？就係話佢哋邊個跑得快啲 faster。Then how we measure which of them is faster? Of course, measure the time. So you can add some more hints here for your analysis. Is that for who, that is student A and student B, is your target to study. And then for the running faster part, you can make use of the measurement of time taken to finish the race。同埋要量度啲咩，知道個結果啦，係嘛？我哋量度時間，知道個結果。研究嘅嘢係啲咩？邊個跑得快啲？ So I will say in this competition, the independent variable is what you change in the experiment, and that is who, the target you would like to study. The dependent variable is what you can measure to tell the result, that is taking the time to finish the race. And then finally, is something that may make the whole race unfair, and they are called controlled variable. Okay? Oh, and then maybe look into your worksheet. Try to highlight some important information and write it in a form of, okay, who can run faster, 邊個跑得快啲 in this format. And then you can easily analyze, okay, and what other factor will affect the result, and they are called control variable. Oh, and here come our first case. Maybe I talk about the first scenario and the second scenario first. Oh, and the first case is about Leo. These are simple case. You just ignore the table below. Oh, and let's highlight the guys. And because if you want to really easily analyze the whole case, you must highlight some key terms. So Leo is a guy, the scientist or the student, want to find out something. 係咪佢話你知佢想研究佢揾出啲咩嘢？ And then the next thing is about the target. And now you would like to know whether salt or sugar dissolve more quickly. And here are the information you can highlight. And if you translate into the sentence just like, okay, who wants faster? Who is your target? Faster is your measurement, your result. You can measure the time taken. Okay? And if you use the wording this time, who is your target, you would like to change in your experiment, and this is called independent variable. The faster part, that is the measurement you can take. 你可以量度到啲咩，知道個 result 嘅。The variable to be measured, and this is called the dependent variable. And just try to rewrite the whole sentence like this. 邊個跑得快啲？而家嘅邊一種嘢溶得快啲？係嘛？糖定係鹽溶得快啲？ So maybe I write it down first. 邊種 物質 there's the which part or the who part 用得 just the verb 快啲 okay and this is the quickly part. So if you really get the whole idea is that for the 快啲 part, that is the faster or more quickly part, it is related to your measurement, that is the time for all to dissolve, time to dissolve completely. 完全溶解需要嘅時間就係你量度嘅嘢，你要知道結果嘅嘢嚟嘅。And this is the dependent variable part. Dependent variable. And then for the who or the which substance part is your independent variable. 即係邊個跑得快啲係嘛？邊種物質用得快啲係嘛？邊種物質 is your target of study 你想研究嘅嘢嚟嘅。So in this case for which the type of substance it should be the independent variable, your target to study. And then for the time taken is the measurement you can take to know the result. 你點知邊個用得快啲？你要度咩數據嚟知道？度時間咯，用到幾耐要嘅時間。And this is the dependent variable. That is the thing you need to measure. And then for the rest of the variable, you have to keep them constant. Just like if you just want to know sugar or salt dissolve more quickly, then one of them you use maybe 100 kilogram of salt. And then the other one you just use 0.1 gram of sugar. Then it's unfair to the salt. Is it unfair to the salt? Because the amount of it is very large. Of course, you may predict that it will dissolve more slowly. 係嘛？你俾咁多嘅鹽落去溶都未必溶得晒添啦，係嘛？溶嘅速度有機會都慢啲啦，係嘛？ So the amount of the substance, amount 即係數量 you add into water may affect the result. Okay? And then the other case is that if you are really dissolving some salt and then the other one some sugar, then let's say make them the same first, 1 gram of them respectively. However, for the case in salt, you use only 1 drop of water. And then for the sugar one, you use 1 liter of water. Then you may also predict that, okay, for that 1 drop of water, it's unfair to the salt again, is it? Because it may be harder, more difficult for the salt to dissolve, and it may benefit the sugar. So it will make the test unfair. 係嘛？你一個俾咁少水去喎，另一個俾咁多水去喎，咪對於啲鹽同埋糖嚟講，對鹽咪唔公平咯，係嘛？ And this is the thing that will make your test unfair, and this regard as the control variable. You have to make them the same to be kept the amount of substance or water the same to make the test a fair one. Okay? Oh, and finally is that for the temperature of water. And if you have experience in the restaurant, hot water may make the sugar or salt dissolve faster. 熱水會令到啲嘢溶得快啲嘅。But it's not our target to study. 唔係我哋今次咧研究嘅對象嚟嘅。What do we want to study? Is whether salt or sugar can dissolve faster. Then you should keep the temperature of water used the same. Otherwise, it will be unfair to one of them. So here is the analysis. How to make use of the sentence. First of all, highlight the data, highlight the information in the question, and then try to transcribe it into the form. Who run faster? 邊個跑得快啲？而家邊種物質溶得快啲？Try to transcribe your sentence into that, so you can get the result more easily. Oh, and let's skip one of the questions about the tissue paper here first, because there are totally 3 set up, and it may be hard for you to analyze. Let's go to the final part and study the question, and be reminded that highlight several things. highlight the target to study, highlight the measurement, and then think of is there any factor that will affect the result. And let's have a look. Wilson is a guy, this time want to study the effectiveness of different brand of fertilizer. 呢個呢係佢想研究嘅嘢嚟嘅，係嘛？佢想研究邊種牌子嘅肥料，係嘛？牌子嘅肥料點樣樣啊？佢嗰個嘅有效程度 is effectiveness. Okay, this is what he would like to study. Okay, 邊個跑得快啲 ？Who run faster？ 邊種肥料有效啲 ？Which brands of fertilizer is more effective? Okay, and here is the transcripted sentence. Oh, and then next, just read the information below. He said, okay, after 3 months, look for the measurement part. Plant Q is taller than plant P. Okay? And this is how he can measure the effectiveness of the fertilizer. 佢點知道邊種肥料佢係有效啲啊？係嘛？我要諗一個嘅 measurement 出嚟。You have to think of the measurement to compare the result. And as I mentioned, there are several common measurement you can take. One of them is about the length or the height of the plant. 究竟佢生長之後嘅高度或者啲葉嘅長度、葉嘅面積 it is something you can measure to show the result. So here is our information already. And again, just relate it to the sentence. Who runs faster? Okay, who is your target? And this time, other different brand of fertilizer or fertilizer A or B. 我哋今次研究嘅係咩？唔係唔同學生咯，而係唔同品牌嘅肥料 different brand of fertilizers is your target you would like to study. And then the other one is that you would like to know which of them is more effective. 即係點樣知道佢跑得快啲 ？How do you know that which of them is running faster? You need to do measurement. And then after 3 months, the people that is Wilson measured the height of the plants after 3 months, and this is the measurement. So I will say that for the target, it is the independent variable. What you changed in your experiment, what you want to study in your experiment. 你研究嘅對象係啲咩？你研究咩對象咪改變佢咯，係嘛？而家我變緊就係話我用 A， 一個用 B 喺種嗰棵嘢入邊啊嘛，係嘛 ？And then how do you know the result？ 點樣比較？點樣要量度啲咩？係嘛 ？After 3 months, measure the height of the plant, just like measure the time taken for finishing the race, and this is called the dependent variable. 量度嘅嘢。比較緊嘅嘢係啲咩？係嘛？ So you can write them down like this. First of all, it's about the independent variable. You can write down as the type of fertilizer or the brand of fertilizer. And here is the common pattern to describe those variables is what of what. And for your target, you can write it behind. And then one of these property 佢嘅咩嘢係嘛？例如今次肥料啫，肥料好多嘢唔同㗎。肥料嘅多少啊，肥料嘅顏色啊。肥料嘅品種啊，肥料嘅品牌啊，定係乜嘢嘢係嘛？ And we have to add some more description on that. And just like type of fertilizer or the brands of fertilizer, just add some more description before. And then the other one is that the dependent variable is about what you can measure. 量度到啲咩，從而知道嘅 result. And now because is measuring the height or the tallness of the plant after 3 months. That is some information you highlight here. Okay? And this is the dependent variable. Something you can measure. Oh, and finally, it's about the control variable. And let's see the position of P and Q. However, you guys, most of you answer this question very good. Is that very well? Because you can see that, okay, P is outside the door without the shadow from the sun, and then for Q it may be in a relatively darker environment. So apart from the brand of the fertilizer, there are lots of environmental factors that will also affect the result and make the test unfair to P or Q. Okay, then this test is not a fair test at all. So here is not a fair test because there are so many environmental concerns, such as the light intensity， 究竟光定係暗啦，有機會都會影響嗰個嘅實驗結果嘅，所以 it's not a fair test. So my point up to here is that the information are always inside the question. Just can you highlight them and transcript into a easier format for you to analyze, just like who run faster， 邊個跑得快啲，邊種肥料有效啲，係嘛？ So if okay, then let's all go back to question 2. Oh, and for this set, there are totally 3 sets up here, but it actually asks you to compare it one by one, so you can consider it as 2 different sets of experiment. Just look into A and B and look into the table. Time required to dry up. Okay? So what's the difference between A and B will be your target? 呢兩嚿嘢嘅分別係點？你想研究啲咩嘢呢？ And I will say that it's about the surface area of the tile, because A is without fold into half, and then for B is half in the surface area. Okay? And this is what you change in your experiment. And as you may see that in the below the diagram, we said that both of them are occurred under the same temperature. It's because in order to make it a fair test. As you may know, at a higher temperature, the tile may dry faster. 熱嘅環境，啲嘢會乾得快啲啦，係嘛？咁所以咧，我哋如果要研究佢表面面積有摺定係冇摺，對於佢乾嘅快慢嘅影響嘅話 ，we must keep the temperature the same. So I say that the target of study is who 邊個跑得快啲，就係大表面面積嘅手巾定係細表面面積嘅手巾 is your target group of study. And in the table, it actually tells you the measurement can be taken. Time required to dry up. The time required to dry up is your measurement to know the result, which of them can dry faster. OK， 邊一個乾得快啲嘛？咁咪度時間咯，咪知道乾得快啲咯。咁啊，至於今次嗰兩個 target 係啲咩？就係 A 同 B 嗰兩張紙巾啦。But you have to write more detail. Is that now you are studying the surface area with folding into half or without folding into half. So here comes the yellow set. Oh, and if you apply the same idea, is that for B and C, the set of B and C, just observe the difference. B and C this time, consider them as a new set of experiment. Oh, they both of them, they are both folded into half. And what's the difference? Okay, the temperature is the only difference. Then I will say that from this experiment, what I can know is the effect of temperature. 究竟高溫嘅手巾定係低溫嘅手巾？我哋研究嘅對象嚟嘅 our target to study the one with high temperature, the tower with low temperature is our target to study. And again, how to know that which of them can evaporate faster or dry up faster? Of course, measuring the time taken. Again, so as you can see in part 2, temperature of the environment is the target we would like to study. 高溫定低溫，乾得快啲，係嘛？同邊個跑得快啲 ，sentence pattern 就一樣㗎，係嘛？高溫定低溫 is equivalent to who part that is our target to study. So it is the independent variable. While how to know the result, which of them can evaporate faster, is about the time measurement. 量度緊嘅嘢點知邊個乾得快啲啊嘛，係嘛？ Time is what you have to measure. So you can copy this thing inside your question actually. Well, and the most difficult part in this homework is that is the inch set fair test. As you can see that there are totally 3 set up, but the problem is that the guy is not comparing these 3 set up together, but separate into 2 experiments. For the set A and B, only difference is the surface area of the tile. For the set circle in yellow, that is B and C, the only change is the temperature。但係每一做呢 set A 同 B 個 set 溫度一樣，只係得表面面積唔一樣啫。黃色個 set 嘅大家嘅大細一樣，唯一唔同嘅係 temperature。So I will say that these 2 sets are fair comparison because in each of the pair of experiment, only one type of independent variable has changed, so that we can find out the relationship between the independent variable and the time required for it to dry up. So finally, there are 2 points here is that when you are doing this kind of analysis, always highlight the information in the question. You can find out most of the information in the question is the first thing. And then the other one is identify whether they are dependent or independent variable by rewriting it into the format where who run faster。將咧你有嘅 information 減低之後啦，將佢寫成咧個 format 係邊個跑得快啲，高溫低溫乾得快啲，大張細張表面面積唔同嘅時候乾得快啲，唔同嘅肥料邊隻有效啲。And then after you write that, I think you can handle the concept of independent and dependent variable. And then what you to have to think of next is what other factor may also affect the result and make the test unfair. Then they are the control variable you need to consider when designing an experiment. And that's all for the discussion here.